So we walk past the pool, and it's girls in thongs. And we get to the condo, and I realize I forgot to bring a bathing suit. And so Kevin goes, "Oh, what do you got boxer shorts?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, just put on the boxer shorts." So they go down to the pool, and I'm in the room, like walking back and forth. I don't know if I can wear boxer shorts. So finally, I just put on the boxer shorts, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go for it." So I open up the gate. I take 2 steps inside, and Kevin stands up and he goes, "Greg, what are you doing in your underwear?"
Rhodes Stories. Rhodes Stories.
Okay, I'm really excited about my guest today. He's an Emmy award-winning writer, great comedian. He has a podcast as well. What was your podcast called again?
Well, there's Fitzdog Radio.
Fitzdog Radio. Is there
and Sunday Papers.
Sunday
And then
Papers.
another one called Childish. I do
You have 3 podcasts?
Well, one's been for 14 years, one's been for about 6, and one's been for about 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
That's
too much.
insane.
It's
Okay.
too much.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm very excited about my guest today. He has 3 podcasts. He's an Emmy award-winning writer. He's done Howard Stern 500 times.
50.
Okay, it's same thing.
Yeah.
And he's one of my favorite people. Please welcome Greg Fitzsimmons.
Thank you.
How was that for an intro?
That was good.
I'm
I
working
liked
on
it.
it.
It was my favorite part is I'm one of your favorite people. I saw you in the
are.
airport. Were we in Pittsburgh?
You were flying to Pittsburgh. We were at the LAX airport.
Oh, we were at LA. No, we weren't at LAX.
Yeah.
No, we were connecting.
We were connecting?
Yeah, remember because both of our flights were delayed? Was it Chicago? It was Chicago.
Oh, really?
I think it was because don't you remember both our flights were delayed when we saw each other?
Oh, no. Okay, so we saw each other on the plane in LAX, and then we got off at the same spot.
Oh, that's
and
what it
then
was.
We both went our separate ways,
I
and
think
then
we
we were
flew
both
to Chicago,
delayed.
and then both our flights were delayed when we got to Chicago. Yeah, and it was so fun to see you, and it's just like,
yeah.
you know, you always make me smile.
You do too.
Yeah.
I was thinking today, I was like, well, we connect in many ways. First of all, because
Right.
we have all these weird similarities. We have the same birthday.
Mhm.
We're both ADHD. We're both from Boston. We both went to BU, right?
Yeah.
You went to BU?
Yeah.
Did you finish BU?
Yep,
I didn't, but it was close enough.
I got this
And-
Distinguished Alumni Award.
You did?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
It means that they consider you one of the greatest people to ever go to the school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Anyway,
where
wait.
we
So what are
part
the other
ways.
things? What are the other things we had in common?
Well, you said on Harlan Williams that you also have social anxiety.
Yeah.
Which I would never guess from you, but
Mhm.
I have that too.
Yeah.
And are there other ones?
Yeah, there are other things. Well, we
We're
both like
Emmy
yoga.
Award winners.
Yeah, you will be someday.
Yeah, we both like yoga.
We both like yoga. We both
we-
lived on the west side of LA
We
till
did
you moved.
until I moved. We're both amazing people.
And great comics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And great at crowd work.
Yeah.
Greg loves telling the story about how the first time I opened for him, I was not good at crowd work, but he said, and I was bombing in Cleveland. And then.
Well, I didn't know you weren't good at crowd work at that time.
Right.
And so you were bombing, and I go, well, maybe open it up a
I
little
love
bit.
how you
know?
admit that I was bombing. Like, you never would have admitted that if I asked you, like, a year after. You would have been like, no, you were doing
right,
okay.
right.
And now that it's been enough time, you're like, yeah, you were bombing. You were definitely bombing.
In my mind, but it didn't seem like bombing that much because like I saw what you were going for.
Okay.
And that's what I love about your stand-up is that you really have your own voice, you have your own tempo,
Oh.
you bring them to you, you do your own
Yeah.
thing, and when you start like that, it's very hard to come out of the gate strong. I mean, Maria
Right.
Bamford bombed ever. It just, not to bring
Yeah.
up Murray Bamford because I'm sure you get that comparison a lot.
Yeah,
but
but
like,
I do love her.
yeah, so I just think,
It's not bad in comics' eyes. It's not bad to bomb because if you see what they're going for,
yes,
you see the potential,
Right.
and not just what's right in front of you.
No, I respect the grind. I respect that
Yeah.
you're sticking to your guns, and then it ended up paying off. And now you're doing that same style, but now you've got, you found a way to connect to crowds in a way that I always think that good comedy is when you have an idea of what's funny in your head, and then you find a way to make it connect to the crowd, as opposed to figuring out what the crowd wants and giving it to them.
Right. And then, sorry, I interrupted you. So I was bombing, and then you.
Oh, so I said, why don't you open it up a little bit? Maybe talk to the crowd. And so you're like, you got all excited. Your eyes went wide. You're like, yeah, yeah. And so the next show you went on and you talked to the crowd and you were like, so, sir, what do you do? And he's like, I work in the garment industry. And you were like, oh. Anyway, so where do you live? I live in Dayton. Oh, you live in Dayton, Ohio? Okay. And it was like, I'm in the back going, oh no, I didn't know. I didn't know it would be worse.
And then I come off, and you were really nice, and you were like, don't listen to me. That was your next advice. Your first advice was try crowd work, and the next advice was like, don't listen to me. I clearly led you astray.
What's the best advice you ever got?
Oh, that's a good question. The best advice I ever got. There's so many. I feel like there's so many. I think people who, like, I feel like a few people have told me this, but it's like, don't be afraid of failing at it. And just the way you get better is to just keep bombing, is like, just be okay with that.
Well, you really took that to an extreme.
They're like, oh boy.
They just meant for a little while, Erica. Not years.
Well, one time I did a show in New York, and I hadn't really done New York much. I was like, because I started in LA, which is embarrassing. You shouldn't admit that.
Right.
As a stand-up, you should be like, I started in Boston or New York. And so in LA, it's a different rhythm here. And so in New York, I wasn't used to how fast it is.
Yeah.
And so my first time ever doing New York, I bombed so bad. Like, it was complete silence.
Yeah.
And I was staying with, Garrison Keeler, who's related to me by marriage. And he was like, how did it go? And I said, I bombed so bad. And he goes, well, just get up and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that was good advice. Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like, don't take it so personally. You just keep on going.
Well,
what about you?
I think the best advice I ever got.
Yeah.
Best advice I ever got was if they're not listening, because I started in Boston, and that was rowdy.
I bet.
And it was not just people heckling you, but people just talking to each other. And sometimes you were in sports bars and stuff like that. And Mike McDonald told me that if you're ever like find yourself yelling because it's loud, he goes, just take the mic and move it down here and talk the same way. And all of a sudden they'll stop and they'll go like, wait, I can't hear. And then they all of a sudden quiet down and start to listen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it really works.
That's really specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think if I have more specific to my act rather than just in general.
Yeah.
If anyone's been like,
Kevin Meaney told me that I was always dirty. And he said to me, you should do an act that your mother can watch. And I just immediately went, no, not interested in that advice. Because he did a very clean act. But I was like, that seems like a big sacrifice artistically for one person.
Right. Yeah. Especially if it's kind of catering to just that specific demographic too.
Yeah. Right.
And also not maybe doing what you want to be doing, which is not pleasing your mom.
Do you ever think about that?
I think in the beginning I worked pretty clean. And then now I'm thinking more about what do I actually want to say,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily dirty thoughts, but maybe a little edgier
Yeah.
and maybe not as popular or not as, palatable.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
So anyway, so this is called Rhodes Stories. So do you have a Rhodes story
Oh,
you wanna
God.
tell?
Do I have Rhodes Stories?
You've been doing it for how long? 30
5 years.
Wow.
I
Do you
got
get sick
started
of
in
the
89.
road? Do you feel like you're sick of it ever? Or you like doing it?
I don't know. I sort of feel like that's like asking a successful businessman if like he's tired of putting on a suit and getting on the commuter train. It's like
Yeah.
it's just part of the job,
But don't you feel like you don't have, like at your level, you could like kind of just stay in town and do if you have 3 podcasts, you can write.
I don't
you're
think you
regular at all the clubs. Like
Yeah, but you don't stay strong unless you go on the road. It's
That's
like
true.
It's like working out. When you're doing 5 one-hour sets in a weekend,
that's true.
you really feel like you're pounding it out. You're getting your rhythm. You're reminding yourself what the right. Because if I'm off the road for like 3 weeks, by the end of the 3 weeks, I feel like, oh my God, I'm not even ready to headline right now. I'm nervous that first night back.
Yeah, me too. I always feel off the first night.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so yeah, you have to keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to keep on doing it. And all right, so
Yeah. So what's the
here's
story?
a road story. When I was
Okay.
in Boston, me and another kid, I go up to this. This is when I was single, and I'd been only doing it for a couple years, and I was so excited to get any gig.
Yeah.
And the gigs in Boston were super down and dirty. There was like 3 booking agents, and they all like worked from their basement in socks, and they just, got you gigs in the back of Chinese restaurants.
Oh, I remember that one.
There was a lot.
Oh,
of
there were a
those.
lot.
Yeah. Well, because they basically, when there was a comedy boom in the 80s, and I started in 89, but it started in the 80s and went through the 90s. You could hang up the sign just comedy Tuesday night, and it would just sell out. People were so excited to see live comedy.
Wow.
So you'd go to little town, you go to Shrewsbury, and you go to Mattapan. You go to, well, not Mattapan. That was a bad town to pull up, but
Yeah, I don't know Mattapan actually.
Mattapan's a very black area of
Okay.
like Dorchester in
Okay.
Boston. So you put up a sign, and they realized that Chinese restaurants almost always have a banquet room, just like a room in the back for parties. And so on a Tuesday night, they'd be like, hey, we'll give you the drinks. We'll fill the room. You'll sell 1,000 drinks, and we're going to keep the ticket charges. So it was just perfect little business model.
Wow.
And you'd show up and you'd do these gigs. So me and this other comic go up, and it was in Maine, and it was like 4 hours up. And they don't give you a hotel room. And I was literally I think I was making $75. And so
So gas money.
so gas money. So I share a car with the other comic, and we drive up, and we walk in, and it is a Chinese restaurant, but the front bar looks like a war zone. Like it is just beaten down and sad. And so we go in, and we're like, oh, this is brutal. And I was still drinking at this point. So we do the show, we bomb, and then and then there's some waitresses, and me and the other guy start talking to these 2 waitresses. And so at the end of the night, she invites me back to her place, and he found a girl, and he's like, all right, I guess we're spending the night. So
Do you remember who the comic was?
Yeah.
But you don't want to say?
I could say it was Jackie Flynn.
Okay.
Do you know Jackie Flynn?
I don't know Jackie.
He's around.
Okay. Wait, maybe I do.
He's really funny. Dark hair, great joke teller.
Does he do comedy magic ever?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thick Boston accent.
Yeah.
So we each meet a girl. He goes off with hers, and he's going to pick me up. She gives the address. And then so I go there, and it's a trailer home, and we get in, and her mother is there with her 3-year-old. And I'm just like, what?
Oh, no.
This is not what I was picturing.
Oh my god.
So the mom sees me, and I mean, she looks at me like the mailman's here. Like, it's just totally like, how you doing? And so we come in, and the 3-year-old's asleep, and then we go into her room, and we start fooling around, and she wanted to have sex with me, and I was just like, there is no way I'm having sex with this woman. Like, This was more like a place to stay, maybe fool around a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just remember she was chasing me around the bed. She was like trying to
Oh my
have sex
God.
with me, and I was just like, no. I felt like it was like a like laughing or the Benny Hill show. And
Did you not want to have sex with her because of the kid or because of the place, or you just weren't into her at all?
all of it. It was
of
a series of things happening, from the dive bar to the bombing to her
Right.
chain smoking to her having
Oh,
a kid
ew.
to her living in a
Okay.
trailer to meeting her. I was just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere I can go because I got to wait till the morning for Jackie to come pick me up.
Oh no.
So I spend the night with her, and then I get up in the morning and Jackie's there, and I get in the car and we go home. So about a month goes by, and then I run into another comic friend of mine who I'm not going to name. And he's like, dude, just got back from Maine. Got laid with this waitress. I was like,
What's that voice?
I was like,
I feel like you're giving away who it is with.
yeah, he kind of talks funny.
Okay.
And I was like, trailer? He's like, yeah. I go, 3-year-old mom. He's like, yeah. He goes, dude, we had sex all night. So I was like, yeah. I go, what is wrong with you? I go, how? This guy was just the dirtiest dirtiest comedian you ever met.
Oh God.
And so we laugh about it. And then a week later, we call the agent and we go, we want to do the gig together in whenever you can do it. And so like 5 months later, we show up together and we walk in the front door, and she's got a tray of drinks. And I mean, she saw the two of us. I think she dropped a tray of drinks.
Really?
She was like, what the? So we come in, we do the show, we both bomb.
Again.
But during the show, we notice she's got a little belly.
Oh my.
She got a
God.
baby bump. Looks like it's about 4 or 5 months old.
Oh my God. Not yours.
Not mine.
So was
So-
it his?
It was he's never had a child come to him. He was always expecting.
Did he talk? Did you guys talk to her or no?
Yeah, we hung out. I think he might have fooled around with her again.
But he didn't ask about the pregnancy?
I don't think it came up.
Oh my God. That's
While she was
nuts.
smoking, I don't think it came up.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Wow. So and he fooled around with her again,
I think it's in his car. Yeah.
and then did he ever hear from her again?
Not that I know of.
What if it's his kid?
I know. And he's been very successful. He's got money.
So she would have gone to him then. It
I think
sounds
so.
like she made a habit of this.
It might have been any of the headliners that came in over that 4 months. Yeah.
Or a bartender.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
anyone.
I mean, that's how it was back then. Like, we used to it was like every gig we went to, comedians were such a big deal then. It was a novelty because
Right.
there hadn't really been stand-up comedy in a mainstream way before the 80s, you know?
Right.
It was done at the Playboy Club and opening for Sinatra, and it wasn't
Yeah.
like Chinese restaurants. Instead, the comedy clubs were new.
Right.
And
so
so
you guys
if-
were like rock stars coming into town.
Rock stars. And
Yeah.
then even if you bombed, you still were the guy up there with the microphone.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty great. It was pretty great.
It's interesting. Like there's so many things about being a woman on the road versus a man on the road, but I really do hear more stories, obviously, about the male comedians.
I know a couple of
Like,
women that enjoy their time on the road.
Really?
Yeah.
I have never hooked up with anyone on the road.
No.
Ever.
What?
Never.
Do men hit on you?
Not really. Like like they'll kind of talk to me, but none of them really. Like the closest I've had like coffee maybe once,
Yeah.
but I've never like gone back to a guy's place, and
But you've been propositioned.
not in that way. Maybe like, do you want to have a drink? But
That's so fun. I think
Yeah,
that
they're,
men
like,
are
kind of-
intimidated by women who are in the power position that you're in.
yeah, and if they try to be funny and you don't laugh,
Yeah.
they're immediately like, it's like they get kind of scared. And
Do you wish you
So-
could have a one-night stand on the road?
I've never met a guy where I'm like, oh, I'm really
Yeah.
into him.
Right.
If I met a guy I liked, but I don't know. I don't really hook up with people like that.
And you're not a big drinker either after the show.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not a big partier. Like when I go on the road, I have rules kind of now. Like I don't drink on the road
At all.
At all. Once in a while I'll have one drink, and I swear every time I get sick.
Oh, wow.
Because your immune system drops and you're dehydrated from flying.
Yeah.
And like it happens almost every time. So now I just don't.
You don't realize how dehydrated you are till like you do, especially if I fly in on a Friday and I have to do 2 shows. My voice is shot by the second show.
Yes. My voice went completely gone a couple weeks ago.
While you were on stage?
100%. I was opening for Jim Norton.
Yeah.
And then after the last show, I stayed in Portland and my voice was just gone.
Yeah.
And I was staying with my friend and I had nothing.
Wow.
Just no voice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary because you're like, this is my instrument.
Yeah.
And you feel like
I
it's
lost
not
it on
coming
stage
back.
during a show once. I completely lost it.
Really?
Yep.
In the middle of the show?
I was down in Texas,
Oh my
Addison,
gosh.
Texas, and it had been going, and I was drinking tea with honey, and then it just went, and I just like put the mic right on my mouth, and I was like, everybody's gonna be really quiet, and I like whispered my act. It was like the last 15 minutes.
Oh my God.
And apparently-
whispering's the worst thing you can do.
Oh, you've no emotion. There's no
Yeah.
punch behind anything you're saying.
But it's also bad for you.
Oh, really?
Like if you're losing your voice, that's one of the rules. You're not supposed to whisper
Oh,
with
interesting.
laryngitis.
Wow.
So-
All right, so here's another Maine story.
Yeah. Wow. I've never done comedy in Maine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing out.
Well, from Boston, there was a lot of gigs in Maine, and you talk about being a rock star. They're like, wow, thank you for coming up here.
They have
And-
nothing up there.
So I go up and there's this guy named Kevin Knox, and Kevin was bigger than life. He wore Adidas tracksuits. He had a mullet that was very long in the back, and he had a big
Aw.
smile, and he did a lot of coke, and he drank like all night, shots. He'd buy shots for the bar every night. If you went to like a Denny's, by the end of the meal, he's got 4 people from the wait staff standing around the table laughing. He's got the tables on either side all laughing. He just was like a tornado of funny energy and really machismo and, mildly racist, definitely homophobic.
Does
You
he
know-
still do stand-up?
No, he died.
He died?
Yeah, it was very sad. It
Oh,
was very
no.
sad.
How did he die?
He had cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, anyway, great memories of him. But one of the stories was I go up to Maine, and it was in Kittery, which is like a resort town.
Yeah.
And we go up, and the club is called the Laughing Lobster. And it was a lobster restaurant.
That is the worst
And
name.
they had a comedy night one night, and it was such a big hit. They kept adding a night, and eventually they had a giant lobster on the roof of the place. And eventually they just called it the Laughing Lobster. And the best part is you got to get a lobster every night that you worked there.
Oh, that's pretty
You had
good.
a baked potato, a corn on the cob, and a lobster. And you'd go up there for like 5 nights. So for 5 nights, you're just eating lobster. It was amazing. You never get sick of lobster.
Did you get paid or you just got paid in lobster?
You get- if you do really well, they give you an extra claw. No, we got paid, but it was also there was 2 condos. There was one for the headliner, which was like a duplex, and it had like a big TV. It had a hot tub outside of it. It was beautiful.
Mhm.
And then there was a condo next to it that was a 1-bedroom with like filled with smoke, shag carpeting, like a spork. The only thing in the silverware drawer is like a spork and some soy sauce, and roaches. And so,
Ew.
and the thing is like when we would go to the club, you got a lobster, but only the headliner got dessert. The feature and the opener didn't get
That is
dessert.
hilarious.
So, and he had cable TV.
You'd
So
have to pay if you wanted dessert.
if you want dessert, you had to pay extra. And and so we'd
This is
go
the
and we'd
weirdest
get our
thing.
lobster, and he had this way of talking, and he'd be like, "Hey, these lobsters are pretty good, huh? This chocolate sundae though, it's really, oh, sorry. Anyway, last night, you guys see that show on HBO, that real sex show on? Oh yeah, you don't have cable. So and he would just bust our balls honestly. So the first day they have a pool that's part of the condo complex, and it's filled with it's near Canada. So all these French Canadians come down and they're at so we walk past the pool and it's girls in thongs, which we never had that in this country, but they're in thongs, beautiful, the pool's packed. And we're like, all right, let's go down to the pool. And we get to the condo and I realize I forgot to bring a bathing suit. And so Kevin goes, oh, what do you got boxer shorts? I go, yeah. He goes, well, just put on the boxer short. So they go down to the pool and I'm in the room walking back and forth. I don't know if I can wear boxer shorts to the pool. And I'm looking out the window and I could see all these beautiful ones. I was like, so finally I just put on the boxer shorts. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go for it. Also, I don't feel great about my body. I was very skinny and pale and, freckled. And so I'm a little self-conscious. And so I walk down. I've just got the boxer shorts on. And I see those guys on the far side of the pool, and there's a gate. So I open up the gate. I take 2 steps inside, and Kevin stands up and he goes, Greg, what are you doing in your underwear? And the entire pool bursts out laughing. It was literally like a nightmare where I'm standing exposed to a room full of people, a pool full of people, and I'm just humiliated.
Oh my God, he just set you up. And he's like, I'm going to look really funny in front of all these beautiful women. Watch this. Wow, what a jerk.
Yeah. And then he got the dessert that night and talked about what was on A&E the night before.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you still swim? Did you get in the pool?
No, I went back up to the room.
You were that humiliated?
I was very uncomfortable with my body.
No.
Yeah. I mean, not now. Now I feel good about my body.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in shape.
I'm in shape, right?
You are.
I'm fit.
You're very with it.
Yeah.
Very cool guy.
Nice.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I was like, you get along with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes you. You're on everyone's podcast. You everybody respects you.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah,
Thank
you're a cool
you.
person.
All right.
And
I'm in shape.
You've really grown into yourself.
All it took was 58 years.
That's what I wanted to make a joke I'm a late bloomer. I want to be a sex symbol at 60.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Well,
I want the confidence of a 22-year-old when I'm 60.
I feel like there's some women that got sexier as they got older.
Yeah. I think a lot of women are sexier.
Susan
when
Sarandon got sexier when she got older.
That's true.
I
think even what's her name who was in all the Woody Allen movies got
Mia
sexier.
Farrow?
She's sexy too,
She
but
was already
Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton got sexier when she got
keeps
older.
Sexier,
Good call.
Right?
I told you the other day that I had just seen a Woody Allen movie, and I said you reminded me of Mia Farrow.
That was a huge compliment to me.
Yeah, that was a big compliment. Yeah.
I was thinking with one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone goes, "Who do you get that you look like?"
Yeah.
Because you can't ever say the hottest one,
Right.
Because they'll be like, "No."
Yeah.
And then you'll feel dumb.
Yep.
But then if you say someone who's that you don't want to look like, and then they go, "Yeah, that's who it is," you also don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's never a nice question to be like, "Who do you get that?" It's like, you tell me.
Right.
Right?
And then they better say a young version of.
Yeah, no matter how old you are.
Yeah. People ask me, who do you look like? I always say, I look like a young King Henry VIII. Pick somebody really old.
Yeah, that's funny. Or I just go, my mom. I get that I look like her.
Yeah, that's good.
So
can I tell you a joke?
Yeah. You had a joke.
Well, you saw me on Harlan Williams.
This is a very serious podcast.
I know, but
no room for team.
All right, so City Slicker. Don't you love the City Slicker jokes?
Oh my gosh, I love City Slickers. I watched that with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the City Slicker is driving through the country, and he's in a convertible. It's a Boxster, a Porsche Boxster. Mm-hmm. And he's got a leather jacket and Ray-Bans, and he's driving along. He's feeling pretty cool. He's in the country. And then he sees a sign, a wooden sign nailed up to a tree. And it said, talking dog, $100. And the guy's like, keeps driving. Comes about a mile later, he sees an arrow on the sign that says talking dog, $100. He goes, I got to see what these yokis with these hayseeds are doing. So he drives down a dirt road, and then he sees a driveway, and the sign's pointing this way, and he sees a barn. He pulls down the driveway, and there's this farmer standing there with overalls, and there's a hound dog sitting at his feet. And he looks at the guy and he goes, "Is this a talking dog?" And the dog looks at him and he goes, "What are you talking to him for?" He goes, "I'm the talking dog." He goes, "You don't know anything about me." He goes, "I was educated. I went to Harvard University. I studied linguistics. I was in Boston during the bombing. I was at 9/11. I pulled bodies out of the rubble. They've sent me around the world. I've trained people in military. I speak 7 languages." And the guy looks at the farmer and he goes, "Oh my God, this is incredible." He goes, "Why would you be selling this dog for $100? And the farmer goes, "Because he's a fucking liar."
That is a good one. Where'd you get that one?
Well, I do these golf tournaments.
Did you write that one?
No.
No, okay. That's so funny.
I always do these golf tournaments.
He's a liar. I love that joke.
Like, that's more important to a farmer. That
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
honest. I do these golf tournaments where it's always for charity, and then you go out and you play golf, and they always put one comedian in each foursome. And so there'll be like 15 foursomes, and at the end of the tournament, they have a lunch. And then after the lunch, they have a microphone, and each of the 15 comedians goes up and tells one joke, like a street joke.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I know a ton of street jokes from doing these, because it's always like
fun.
guys like Tom Dreesen and Jackie Flynn and Ray Romano, Kevin James, like they all get up and tell a great joke.
do you know the grasshopper joke where the
No.
grasshopper walks into the bar and says, and the bartender says, "Oh, we've got a drink named after you." And he goes, "You do?" He goes, "You got a drink named Fred?" That's my favorite dumb joke.
That's good. I like that. I like when animals talk and joke.
Yeah, that's similar.
There's a guy is a hunter, and he goes into the woods one day, and he's got his orange jacket on, his little Barney Fife cap, and he's got a shotgun, and he's walking through the woods, and he's looking for animals, and all of a sudden from behind him he gets knocked down on the ground. His rifle falls down. This giant bear rips his pants down, and he fucks him up the ass. And the guy's like, "Jeez!" And then the bear just walks away. And so he comes back the next week. And he walks in the woods, and he's really careful. He's looking around. He's looking for a bear, looking for a moose. All of a sudden, he gets knocked down, pants ripped off. Bear fucks him up the ass again. The guy's like, "Oh my God, what is going on here?" So he leaves, and he comes back like a week. He keeps coming back. It's like a week later, walking through the woods, round a tree, looks up, sees nothing, knocked down. Bear pulls his pants down, fucks him up the ass again. And then the bear looks at him and he goes, "This isn't about hunting, is it?"
That's a really funny one. That's like that joke, or I guess it's not a joke, but it's like a TikTok trend where they're like, "Would you rather be with a man or a bear in the woods?"
Right.
People should hear that
But
joke
would you rather-
before they decide. I'd rather be with a man than a bear.
Yeah.
I feel like that's obvious, but everyone's like, "I'd rather be," they're just
Yeah.
trying to paint men as horrible people.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. There's some that are, but
Mm-hmm.
not all of you.
Right.
There's a couple good ones out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Just like there's a couple raping bears out there.
That's right. And they have a sense of humor. That's what's great about those bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wait, I had one. Oh, yeah. So the question I ask everybody is, what are you running from?
Ooh. I'm running from irrelevancy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a really honest answer.
Yeah.
I like. How do you run from that? Do you think?
I guess you kind of maybe I'm running towards irrelevancy. It's like, I think it keeps me moving. Like the
Yeah.
thing that makes me get up and work on my podcast and,
Mhm.
reach out to my agent, say what's going on, the things that make me post on social media.
Yeah.
It's never the joy of it. I think it's the feeling of like, if I don't do this,
I won't be.
I won't be invited to the comedy festival, and I won't be,
Right.
thought of to go on somebody's tour, or, asked to be on somebody's podcast. And so
Yeah.
I think I started this way. I think I started out running towards relevancy,
Yeah.
and now maybe I'm running away from irrelevancy.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's the same energy. It's not based in a
Yeah.
place. I would rather be coming from a place of creative, passion
Yeah.
and, just self-fulfillment. I wish it was coming. Part of it comes from that. Definitely a big part of it comes from that. But
Mhm.
there's also a piece of it that's that fear.
Interesting. So fear is a driving force in some, but but in some good ways too. It's not
I think
always-
you can use fear. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if you're not, people talk about competition. Being competitive is a great attribute, especially when you're
Right.
coming up. You got to be looking
Yeah.
around and seeing what other people are getting accomplished and going, hey, I'm better than them. I better work harder because that's the only thing
Right.
that's stopping that guy from getting something and not me.
Right.
It's great to be competitive. It's great to be a little bit scared. I think we got to tap into those primal instincts.
Yeah, and that it's not a shame-based thing. It's actually a driving force. Because
I think if you drive hard, it gets you away from the shame. I think
Right.
doing things makes you less shameful.
Right. Yeah, that's really good advice. Actually,
I think you get ashamed when you get frozen,
right. Yeah.
and the thing that draws you out of it is just getting up and going and doing something.
What do you feel brings you the most joy? Is it stand up, the road, podcasting, writing?
Definitely stand up. When I'm
yeah.
on stage and it's going well, there is just nothing better. You just feel like this is what I was meant to do. I feel a tremendous amount of gratitude that I found this and that people come out to support it, and that
Yes.
I've got, I had my father. I learned a lot from watching my father, who was in entertainment, and I learned a lot of lessons, and I feel that when I'm on stage. I feel like a Nepo baby in a really good way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, is your dad still around?
No, he died
No?
very young.
Okay.
He was only 52.
Oh, wow.
And so he didn't really he got to see me do stand up for like a year or so before he died. And but I used to watch him. He was in radio, and then he would like MC all these like charity events, and he would show up with a tuxedo and he had all his notes and he'd be telling stories and jokes, and he did a lot of crowd work. He'd make fun of everybody, and it really was like stand up before, like I said, a stand up didn't exist back then.
Right.
On a pedestrian level. But he was doing it, and I learned a lot about. I think a lot of my style is really like what my dad was doing.
Oh, that's cool. So
Yeah.
you feel connected to him when you're doing it.
Yeah,
In a
I'm
way.
sure you felt that as a musician, carrying on your mom's legacy, right?
Yeah, but my dad was really funny, so I also feel connected to him.
Oh, is that right?
When I do comedy, yeah. And
What
he
did he
loved
do?
it. Well, he was a musician, and then he got MS, and then became a CPA
Oh,
because
right.
he had to switch.
Right.
He was a really good clarinetist.
Yeah.
And then he, when he was a CPA, he would do funny things in the office.
Like what?
Like he would write rap ballads explaining tax rules or whatever,
That's
something
amazing.
really boring, and he would write a whole tax ballad or a whole rap ballad to perform in the office for all these accountants.
Wow. Do you have that on videotape?
No, he didn't tape anything,
Oh.
but I have all his writing. Like my mom has all his writings of
Yeah.
it, and he invented all these characters. Like I think like Dirk Rodeo was an accountant name. Dirk Rodeo, so he was Dirk Rodeo, and then he had his boss has some name, you know. And I know, like, right when he was dying, his boss wanted to talk to him, and they had like this really sweet relationship, and they just were still bantering, you know. He's like, "I've never forgiven you for leaving, Bob," you know. He just had these like funny, you know. He was just kind of a comedian, but just in a weird format. So.
You should go on stage one night and do one of his rap ballads. That would be amazing.
He did one for my mom's 50th birthday. He threw her a surprise birthday party, and he had all the men. I forget what the actual rap was, but then the chorus, he had all the men go, he had all the women go "Stackars Nina" because she has Swedish blood, so "Stackars" means poor Nina. So he would have the women go "Stackars Nina," and then all the men go "Oh Christina, oh Christina." It's really funny. So yeah, he was a good writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you told that story to a crowd and then you did one of those raps, would he put music behind it?
He would. Yeah. I don't know if
that's your new closer. And have
I'd
the whole
have to
crowd say
find them.
Stock
Nina.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
Christina. Oh, Christina.
Oh my God.
I'd have to find it. I bet my mom has it written somewhere.
Yeah.
But very cool. I thought I had one more question for you before we left.
I think maybe I should tell another Rhodes story.
Oh yeah, do you have any more that you need to tell?
Here's a good one.
Oh wait, I had one more question before you tell the story.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on the road and been like, "This is it. I'm done. Like I can't do this anymore." Like, have you ever had a meltdown? Because I've had like several of those. So.
I don't think I ever felt like I was going to leave the business, but I've had clubs where I said, "There's no way." Like I worked at the Dayton Joker's Wild.
Oh my God.
And it was in between two car dealerships on a desolate part of town where nobody was at night.
Mm-hmm.
And you went in and it was just everybody. It was the saddest collection of people. Everybody chain smoked. And it was in like an aluminum shed. It was just like a giant warehousey shed.
That's not the word I thought you were going to say. Shit.
And so
no
you go,
lobster at this place.
No lobster. It was just, your selection of typical deep fried things.
Yeah.
And so I go on stage and this guy's heckling me and he's really an asshole. And they don't do anything. And eventually I go, "Can somebody throw this guy out?" And they go over and they talk to him, but they don't throw him out. And he keeps heckling. And then I go, "This guy's an asshole." And I'm shitting on him. And then at the end of the show, the club owner grabs me and she goes, "Come here." And we walk outside where the crowd is, as they're leaving. And it's the heckler. And she goes, "I want you to apologize to him."
What?
And I said, "What?" I go, "There's no fucking way I'm apologizing to this guy." And she goes, "You need to apologize." And so I said, "No, I'm not." And the guy leaves. And then at the end of the weekend, I'm in her office and I'm getting my check. And it's always that awkward thing at the end of the weekend where you got to sit in the manager's shitty office.
Yeah, I hate that. You
And
just want to leave.
Yeah. And so you're sitting there and she gives me a headshot and she goes, "Will you sign the headshot?" And so I just wrote, "I will never come back to Joker's Wild for the rest of my life." And then I signed it and I took my check and walked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. I think that club's still around.
It
And
is?
this was
Wait, there's
a
a
long time ago.
Wiley's. Is it the same as Wiley's
Maybe.
in Dayton?
Maybe they took it over.
Wow.
You wouldn't want to lose that magic spot.
At Wiley's?
Yeah, that shed. You don't want that to go to waste.
I wonder if she put that on the wall. Your
It would be
headshot.
so cool if she did.
It would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But you'll never know.
I'll never know.
Okay, so tell the other story you just thought of.
All my really great stories are.
You can't tell?
Oh no! Here's a quick one to go out.
Okay.
All right. So there was this agent called Tony Camacho in New York. He's a black guy. I need to say that for the sake of the story. I'm not just one of those guys that say he's a black guy. And then you wait for the end of the story and you go like, "I didn't need to know he was black." So he booked these like corporate dates outside the city. And they were just so great because, you're working in New York City, you're making $20 a spot, you're trying to pay your rent.
Yeah.
And then this guy had shows at country clubs and you'd make like a lot of money. So we go out and he picks me up and he's got a Cadillac and he drives me out to New Jersey to this town. It's like a really nice town, big houses, big like Victorian houses. And then he goes, and then we're lost. This is before GPS. And so we're looking around. We got the directions. We can't find it. And then finally we pull up. It's all white. Everything is lily white. And the name of the country club was the White Beaches. And so we pull up and he rolls down the window and he asks these people on the street, these stuffy old white people. And he goes, "Excuse me, where's the White Beaches at?" And they their jaws dropped. They're like, and me and him started laughing. So we couldn't even get the directions. We started laughing so hard.
Did they answer?
No, I think we had to drive away because we were laughing too hard. Excuse me, where's the white beaches
Where's
at?
the white beach? That's hilarious. Well, thanks for coming on. I have one last question just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Do you do acting?
I went to the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York. It's a really good
Okay.
acting program for 2 years. And I did a film last year with, you've worked with Doug Stanhope, right?
Yeah. Well, he also has a funny story that he won't let me live down where I couldn't stop a fight. A fight happened at the end of my set at the Wilbur Theater when I was opening for him.
Really?
Someone threw a glass at someone and someone yelled at them and they were yelling at each other and I just kept going.
Yeah.
And I think he was like, he still makes fun of me that I just stood there and did absolutely nothing. He's like, she did nothing. And to the point where he had to come out early. Like, he didn't even wait for me to introduce him. He's just like, what's going on?
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, he won't let me live
Hilarious. So he starred in a movie last year. It actually won a bunch of awards. He won Best Actor in like 2 different festivals.
Watch that because it looked really good.
Yeah, The Road Dog. It's really good. It's really good. So I had a nice role in that. I played his buddy.
Oh, cool.
And we shot it in Chicago in the middle of the winter. Oh my God, it was brutal. But it came out really well. And
That's
yeah, they
awesome.
still screen it sometimes in LA. But yeah, it's streaming on everything.
I was thinking I could see you as a bad guy who you don't think is a bad guy.
Oh, like an Ed Harris kind of a guy.
Yeah, like I could see you playing like the right hand guy to a mob guy, you know, and luring someone in and being like, "Hey, you want to come back here?" And then they get killed.
Oh,
That's-
I like that.
Like
And
the
then they
part
get
that I would cast
killed.
But you don't kill them, but you just like get them to do something.
Yeah.
Because you seem like, oh, he's nice, but then there's something else.
And I have no remorse when they die.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's like a Breaking Bad type role.
Yeah.
Like I could actually see you in a drama,
Mm-hmm.
but you're kind of like the right-hand man to some bad guy.
I like that.
Do you
That
like
sounds fun.
Now we just have to write it,
Yeah.
whatever that part is.
We start with the part and then we build around it.
So we build
Yeah.
around who you are.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy guy.
No, well, congratulations on your new podcast. I
Oh,
love this
thank
setup. You're in good
you.
hands, and
Well,
know.
you're the best for coming on
Yeah.
it. So thank you.
anytime.
And and check out Greg's new hour special.
It's called
You just told me it.
You Know Me.
You know me.
Do you like that title?
I do like it. I just forgot it. 'Cause
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah.
I forget which joke that is, but
It's not really even a joke.
Oh, it's not. Oh, it's just
It's
you
more
know
like
me. You
it's
know
more
me.
like you know me.
You know
Come on,
me.
you know me.
You know me.
And then it also plays off of that, like you know me, which I always
Yeah.
hated people that do that. They go like,
You know
so
me.
anyway, I walk in and the gas station attendant goes, "Hey, do you want me to fill up your tires?" And you know me, and it's like, what?
You're like, no, I don't.
I don't. Oh, are you such a fleshed out character that we all know what you would
Right.
do?
So it's a little bit ironic.
Yeah.
The title. I
So-
like it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I
good.
think it's good.
Good.
All right. Well, it's really good. I got to see it already.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's on
Very
YouTube.
good.
Thank you very
You're
much.
so funny.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
All right.
Greg.
God bless.
All right, you too.
You don't. Oh, you need a little ending for your.
Oh, I need
show.
an ending. What do I do?
Let's think of a little phrase you can do.
Oh, yeah.
Over and out. I used to say God bless America.
See you on the roads.
Oh, that's good.
Is that good?
Yeah. See you down the road.
See you down the roads.
Yeah.
Or see you on the road. Roads.
I like down the road.
Down the
because it's like an
roads?
old timey.
Oh, yeah.
See you down the road.
And that's kind of the song that I have coming too, is like old timey song.
Yeah.
See you down the roads.